a trouble between them. That was a very hard word for me to say, apparently. It randomly called my attention. I was just kind of like okay with Ashante. I wasn't really feeling it one way or the other. I was not feeling it. I don't think he knows what to do with you.
It's like, this dude's having trouble breathing.
So like I'm not desperate to pick up a third. Hi everybody, my name is Kelsey and we're about to get very, very nerdy with week 4 and the final week of the magical readathon. So we have about a week left in the month. It is Tuesday, and the month ends next Wednesday. So we have not much time for many things I need to read for my career, because I have 5 books. 5 books I need to finish, and none of them are small. This is gonna be fun. Okay, so bringing over from last week, I do have my arc that is really no longer an arc at this point. It's because it's out. And that is the Very Secret Society of Witches. So I started this one on the very first week, and then I didn't really read anything the next week. And then I did actually read a couple of chapters at the end of last week. I snuck them in last night. So I have really been enjoying this one. So I'm hoping to get to it. I'm hoping to really dive into it more. It's giving me all those awesome like witchy vibes that I'm looking for, and I just really hope I can get to it. I hope I have some more like a downtime to actually physically read. So fingers crossed for that one. And then I also have Ashante by Jesus Release, which I am just under halfway through. And so this one, well, first off, the arc is for the first elemental studies class, which is to start a book with a drink, which I did the very first week. And then Ashante is for the second prompt and restoration, which is the oldest book on your TBR, and it's definitely been on there for quite a while. I kind of talked about it at the end of last week, but I'm really just feeling okay about it. I'm not feeling really attached to any of the characters. The main character kind of annoys me a lot, honestly. I'm not ready to DNF it yet, but we're right on that edge. So I'm hoping to make it to 60%, and then I'll make a decision if it doesn't get better, but it's just kind of okay, you know, like there's nothing any spectacular about it. It's supposed to be set in Marie Antoinette's London, which it is, and I thought we were going to be seeing her, but we haven't seen her yet, and I'm not sure she'll actually show up, which I'm a little sad about, because I really wanted her to show up. So we'll see. I'll keep plugging along with this audiobook. I've got like 4 hours left going at the speed that I've been going at, which is just under 2. I think it's 1.7. So those are the 2 that I've been bringing over, and then I have these 3 that I also need to read. So we have What Once Was Mine, which is a kind of reimagining, one of those Disney reimaginings of Rapunzel. I'm very excited about this one. I've heard good things about these books, and we have 4 of them, but I haven't read any, so I'm really hoping. But the question for this one is, what if Rapunzel's mother drank a potion from the wrong flower? So like moonlight instead of sunlight, like what would happen? This is by Liz Braswell. This is for the prompt, second elemental studies prompt, which is point at a random book, and then one of the next ones next to it on your shelf is going to be it. Chris picked this one out for me in my TBR. I am very excited about it. So I do have actually got the audiobook of all of these. So hopefully we can get to that one. The other one for elemental studies is a C setting. So we've got the first in the Guardians trilogy, Stars of Fortune by Nora Roberts. It's a C setting. I don't actually know much about it, but it's like a fantasy romance. So I haven't really read anything by Nora Roberts. I've read a short story by her. That's a lie. I have read a short story by her in like a bind up, but I haven't read anything like longer, and I've had this series for such a long time. So we're going to start it and see if it's actually for me, but I do have the audiobook of that one, and then I also need to read Wicked Beauty by Katie Robert. This one is for the first restoration prompt, which is a single object is the focus of the cover, and we've got this apple right here, golden apple. This is a Greek mythology kind of series. This one specifically follows Helen, Achilles, and Patroclus. I've loved everything in the Dark Olympus series so far, so I would love to get to this one, and I can probably read this one in like 2 days, honestly. Like, I plow through these once I get started. So very ambitious plans for the week. I am working from home the rest of the week though, so Wednesday through Friday, and I'm not sure how much work I am going to have, so I might have some free time to hopefully maybe read that arc during the, during the week. Hopefully get some just housekeeping type things done. So hoping to get to a lot of these, because again, 3 or 4 out of the 5 of these books all have audiobooks, so I will be able to at least listen to them while I'm doing other things. So that'll be fun. We are going out of town this weekend. I have my friend's bridal shower that we are going to. Also, we might be meeting up with some of our college, like a little college fam. So that might be happening. So we'll see. I'm not sure how much reading this weekend I'll get done, but I do have a lot of time at the end of this week. So we'll see. Hopefully I'll have some fun things to show you this week, and then maybe at the beginning of next week I'll get some last minute reading in. But yeah, I don't see a good way of how I'm actually going to do this. So we might have to cheat and sneak in some extra things, like smaller things, maybe some graphic novels and stuff in for some of these prompts instead. But I am just saying I'm nervous is an understatement, but we got this. We're gonna get through some of these things. And we are gonna have some good reading, because I'm excited about all of these, like every book except for maybe Ashante, but that's because I'm currently in the middle of it. I have high hopes for. So fingers crossed. Let's see how this week unfolds. have an update for you. A pretty big one. I'm very excited. I finished a book. I know. Who is she? I finished What Once Was Mine, which is a twisted tale about Rapunzel by Liz Braswell. I gave this 5 stars. It just kind of like called to me, so I thought I'd pick it up. I was reading Enchante, which I'm still in the middle of. I haven't like officially DNF'd it, but I have like zero desire to pick it up. It's like not making me want to read, and this sounded good, so I decided to just randomly pick this one up, and I finished it in like 2 days. It was so good. This was so fun. So the idea behind this book is that the idea behind the series is that they're kind of like reimaginings of Disney fairy tales, in the sense of like most of the things will stay the same, like the general plot will stay the same, but like one little thing will be changed, or there'll be a question that they're asking, and that will change a lot of it though. And so this one is, what if Rapunzel's mother drank moonlight instead of sunlight, like the flower she drinks when she's pregnant with Rapunzel to make her like heal. And the original obviously is a sunlight flower, but in this book they find a moonlight flower, and so that makes her hair very dangerous. And so she ends up getting sent away to live with Mother Gothel as like a precaution for everyone. And then of course Mother Gothel is not a good person, so like it becomes like being captive. And so it's really just that. There are the same characters. There's the Snuggly Duckling, there's all of the ruffians from that. We do have Flynn Rider. We have a new character named Gina, who I think, if I remember correctly, and I might be totally off on this, there was a TV show adaptation of Tangled after the events of the movie, and there is another character there that's like a really good friend of Rapunzel's that's like in the castle, and she likes to do adventures and stuff. And I think that's supposed to be this Gina character. They've taken her from the TV show, which is kind of cool, if that's actually what it is. But the entire story is being told by a brother to his sister. So it follows, at the very beginning starts with this brother and sister, and the sister is going through chemo. She's in the hospital, and she's just kind of dealing with, I don't think they say specifically what kind of cancer she's got, but she does have cancer, and she's going through a chemo treatment that day. And so the brother's going with her and just kind of hanging out, and they just finished watching the movie, and so she hands him the book version of Tangled and says, please read. And he's like, but wait, no, we literally just watched this movie. What if I reimagined it? And she was like, okay, but like Flynn still has to be in there, Mother Gothel still has to be bad. Like she gives him like all the stipulations of like there still has to be Maximus, which is the horse character, and like all of those things. And he goes, okay, I got you. And so then he creates this story of moonlight instead of starlight, and it's very fun. I really enjoyed it because it's like, you know, the general idea of the story, so you're going into it with like that idea, but then you're also seeing what she's doing as far as the author is doing to like change that. And I just thought it was really interesting. It is very interestingly written as well, because it is a YA book, but it's written almost like a middle grade book until you get to the end, and then like there's a few things that happen that like would not be in middle grade books, like more, not necessarily more gory things, but some more adult things like that, like when there is like fighting and stuff like that, that you wouldn't normally see described this much in a middle grade, let's say. But I adored this. I thought it was so fun. I liked the idea of like this brother and sister, and like that's how they're bonding, because like throughout the book we do check back in with them, and it's just fun because like you have all the characters that you love, but it's just a little bit different, and I loved it so much. So I'm curious to see what the other books are like. We've got 4 out of the thousands, I'm sure, and there's a couple, this one, and then there's one about Meg, like it's the Hercules one, that I'm very interested in. So I might have to pick up some of the other ones I've got, because this was just so good. And like I don't know what it was. It's just like the humor and the writing is very similar to like the Rapunzel from the movie, which I loved. So yeah, I'm so happy I read this. It was just super random. Thank you to the hubby for picking this out for me. It was for the prompt of the second Elemental Studies, which was to pick a random book, point at a random book, and then pick one of the books on either side of it. And so he picked this out for me and the TBR. I think I told you guys that already in this vlog, but he picked this one out for me, and I very much enjoyed it. It was so fun. I did have the audiobook as well, and I do recommend the audiobook. The narrator is just really good. She really does just kind of like have the Rapunzel, you know, like she just kind of like makes Rapunzel, and I loved it. So 5 stars. I really enjoyed this, surprisingly. Like, I'm not surprised I enjoyed it. I'm surprised I enjoyed it as much as I did. And so this definitely got me out of like the almost slump I was about to hit into. So yeah, I finished a book. Very exciting stuff. So I think the audiobook that I'm going to pick up next is going to be Wicked Beauty by Katie Robert. This is the third of the Dark Olympus series, which is based on Greek mythology. I love the series so very much, and I can't wait to dive into this one. So I'll have the audiobook of this one. I'm not sure how much I'm going to read this weekend because we are quite busy. We've got like a couple of things planned. I've got, like I said earlier, I've got a bridal shower, and then like we've got some like our college little like cohort. We're meeting up because one of them got a new kitten, and like this is the cutest cat I've ever seen in my entire life, and I can't wait to see it in person. So I'll take you along with me and record what I can, but like I don't know how much physical like reading and listening I'm going to get to, so this probably won't get read a whole lot until the beginning of next week. But this is my plan, is this one is the next one. But I am switching things up a little bit because I'm not excited about Ashante, so I could DNF it, but that still is the prompt that's not filled, so I'd have to find something else to fill it. So I'm going to put it on pause. I'm not saying no. I might say no. We'll see by the end of the month. But for now, I'm not saying no, and I'm going to replace it. I'm cheating a little bit. The prompt is like your oldest book on your TBR. So I looked at my manga and graphic novel shelves, mostly my manga shelves, and what was the oldest one on that shelf specifically, and that is How to Treat Magical Beasts. Mine and Master's Magical Journal. It's the first in this series. It's by Kazuya. I've had this for a while. Like last March, I went to Books A Million and like bought a bunch of first volumes to try things out. And so since then, I've read a lot of them except for this one. So I don't know what to expect in this one. It's about mythical, magical creatures. So I probably will, well, I'm definitely going to do this prompt for that one instead. But I probably won't get to it until probably Sunday night when we get back. I'm not planning on taking this one with me this weekend, but that is one that I am planning on doing. Did we all just see me hit myself in the face? Good job. And then the other one is the one that's my arcs in for. I'm very excited about this arc. I still want to read it, but because I'm reading it physically, it is not gonna, there's no way it's gonna get done by the end of the month. I know me. So instead I'm gonna replace that with a 3rd volume of Descender just because of the cliffhanger and I need answers. But that prompt is to start a book with a drink. I have my lovely tea that I've been sipping on all day. And we are gonna leave town soon-ish, but I do have a little bit of time before we have to leave. So I'm going to at least start this because like I don't have to read it the entire time with a drink. I just have to start with a drink. So I think I'm going to start this one before we leave because I need answers. Dramatic things happen at the end of the last volume. So we're going to sneak this one in for that one. I think those are all my updates. I finished a book I'm very, very excited about, and I'm excited about the changes I've made. I was really nervous about changing things and if I really wanted to or not, but I think it's going to be for the better. And I'm still excited about, like, I'm not changing everything. Like, I'm not making all of the books graphic novels. I still have, like, 2 pretty big books that I want to get to. But I am not going to stress myself out. If I don't finish by the end of the month, then that is fine. I'll still count them if I've started them in this month, is kind of the way that I'm thinking about it. So that's my plan. I'll probably talk to you later. Well, I'll probably talk to you when we get back this weekend if I've got time, or at the beginning of next week. We'll see when I am able to talk to you, but those are my plans for now. So, yeah. Oh, I'm really glad I finished that book. It was so good. Hello. Um, it's been a few days since the end of the month, and I'm here to officially wrap up this vlog. I have finished quite a few things since I talked to you last, but not everything I need to do, which is fine. I'm down to literally one. There's one book that is still needed, and I'm a good halfway through it, if not more. So I'm not going to stress myself out. I'm going to finish it at the beginning of September and it'll be great. And I'll still count it, which I feel like we can all give ourselves a little slack. So I'm going to give myself slack because it's literally just one book and it's half of a book. So I can do it. It's like 150 pages. I can do it. But let's talk about what I finished. So I was able to finish the third volume of Descender. I ended up giving this one 4 stars. I really enjoyed this. It was different because it wasn't action-packed as much as the first 2 volumes were, and it was a lot more about the behind the scenes. So I think there's like 4 or 5 episodes in this volume. I don't really know, chapters maybe in this volume. And the first 2 were very like, go, 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 here's what's going on, we're going to leave you at big cliffhangers. And this one is like, now that I've hooked you into the story, let me explain why the characters are doing the things they are doing. So we get up behind the scenes on a lot of the characters in here that like we've come to know from the first 2 volumes, and like why they're in the situation we find them in, how they got there. There's some characters that have known each other, and so we kind of see their backstories before we, you know, see them reconnect, if you will. And then like it starts with like we meet a second Timbot, and it would start with him and like where he started and why he's doing the things that he's doing, and then we meet some of the characters that are on this mission with the original Timbot that we met and how they got there, why they got on this mission, things like that. So it's really very interesting. It gives a lot of insight into motives as to why people are doing what they're doing, and a lot of, you know, how they find themselves where they are. And so this one is very good at kind of giving you what's going on. So like it doesn't move the plot forward in really any sense, but it does talk about how our characters got where they are, which I really enjoyed. I thought that was very interesting. So not very action-packed. There is still a cliffhanger of sorts, but it's not nearly as dramatic, I guess, as the second volume specifically, but the first 2 volumes were both had very big cliffhangers. I would say the second volume way more. So I'm gonna continue. I love this series. I'm already halfway through at this point, and I'm really enjoying it. I just like this one gives me like that break I needed, you know? So like I'm not desperate to pick up the next volume. I still want to. I'm still very interested in where the story is going, but like it gives me some time to like breathe and some time to like get some of the other books in that I really needed to. So very happy with this. Like I said, gave it 4 stars. And then I was able to sneak in Wicked Beauty by Katie Robert. This one also got 4 stars. I think I have a disconnect. I've discovered this thing because like I love the world. I love all of the Greek myth things because like this follows Achilles, Patroclus, and Helen of Troy. And, well, I guess she's not of Troy in this book, but that character. And the Iliad is one piece of Greek mythology and Greek literature that I know really well as far as, like, all the characters in it and everything like that, because I've just had to study it so much. And this was really cool because, while it's a totally different world, it's basically a competition in this book as to who can get the title of Ares. In this world, there's like a 13 that kind of like rule the city, and they're all like titles that are passed down through one way or the other, and it's things like Zeus, Hera. Actually, I'm not even sure Hera's part of it. I'll find it for you. So we've got Zeus, Hera, Poseidon, Hades, Apollo, Artemis, Athena, Demeter, people like that who are like part of this 13, and then they are really the rulers of this city called Olympus. And so in this book, the Ares character, that we really haven't seen much in the last 2 books, dies. And so it's a competition to find out who's going to become the next Ares. Some of these positions are handed down from father to son, mother to daughter, things like that. Some of them are like literally people have appointed somebody else to be their heir or the new title holder. The Ares position is a little bit different, where it's a competition. And so Achilles and Patroclus and Helen are all in this competition to become Ares. And so it's their relationship through that. And there's a lot of extra characters like Paris, Hector, Ajax, show up. Theseus shows up, who's not part of the Iliad, that's a different myth, but like Theseus and the Minotaur show up, and it's like little things like that of they're all just like hints, you know, like little bitty hints to Greek mythology, and I absolutely love all of those hints. I think I have a disconnect when it comes to Truples, because this is, you know, it's a great story between these three people. It's very reminiscent of like some of the other things in the series, but whenever there's a triple in one of Katie Roberts' books, I always don't enjoy it as much. And I don't know if it's because like the chemistry is different between three people versus two people, and I enjoy a two people relationship more if I can't really relate to a triple, or like I don't know what it is, but those relationships don't work in my brain for some reason, because while I'll love a lot of Katie Roberts' books, when it comes to a couple, those always get rated a little bit less. Still a 4-star, still really enjoyed my time reading this, and like the story she created, and like this one out of the 3 I've read so far really hints towards a future in the series, whereas each one was like very much these two characters' story, this is their story, and like you can have more, but like that's it. This is the story. Whereas this one like ends almost on a cliffhanger, because like not for like their story specifically, but like the grand story of Olympus, things are going down. And I'm interested to see the next story, because like that one follows Cassandra and Apollo. And so that one I don't actually know when it's going to come out. Probably sometime next year. I don't see it coming out. Yeah, February of 2023. So we've got some time before that one. But I really enjoy this world and I love her stories. It's just, I think it's something with having 3 people be the main characters. I don't know why. It doesn't fit, you know, like in my head, it just doesn't fit. So I still, like, again, gave it 4 stars, very much enjoyed this book, but it's just, you know, compared to the other two were better. And so I'm excited to see where we could go. Like I said, there's going to be a lot more things that are going to happen in Olympus, so I'm curious to see how that's going to continue. But yeah, it was fine. It was fine. I enjoyed it. And then I also finished another manga, and that is How to Treat Magical Beasts, Mine and Master's Medical Journal, and it's by Cassia. So this one is, I ended up giving it 3 stars, and I enjoyed it. This is a weird one to talk about, because like the idea behind this book was awesome. I really enjoyed it. It's this girl who works for a veterinarian. It's kind of like set in, there's not like a specific time period, but it's definitely set historically in some way. So we see that. And like she comes from healers in her family, so she has magic, and so she understands magical creatures and magical beasts and things like that. And this guy is a vet for like regular everyday kind of animals, but because she has healing properties and like healing magic and knows how to do things, she's his apprentice. And so he ends up helping out a lot of magical creatures, like normal creatures, but also magical creatures, because of her. And so this is just really a collection of stories. It has a sort of a cliffhanger to make you want to read the second one. I don't really feel like I need to read the second one. I feel like this series is just going to be the same thing over and over again. And while there is an overarching plot of our main girl who like is doubting her powers, and so this guy is trying to like convince her and like show her that she's actually like more powerful than she thinks she is, it's just a collection of stories, which is fine. I'm not saying that that's the issue. That's just like, I wanted there to be more to it, and it was literally just like, here's a creature. Oh, he's actually magical. Okay, you can do it. I believe in you. And then something magical happens and the creature is, you know, cured, fine, whatever it is. And so you get to see a lot of like their interactions, which is interesting, but like as far as the plot, it's very repetitive. It just keeps happening over and over and over again. It's the same thing. Magical creature. They figure out what's going on. She solves it. Yay, move on. And so it's just okay. You know, like it's not anything amazing, spectacular. It was fine. I enjoyed it. Still gave it 3 stars because I did like fly through in a couple of days because I was interested to see like the creatures. I thought that was really interesting. But as far as like continuing with the series, I think I'm good. I think I read it. I think I'm good. I don't think I need any more, you know? And then the one book that I am halfway through but haven't finished yet, and my light is going away, is Stars of Fortune by Nora Roberts. This is the first in the Guardians trilogy. And this basically follows 6 strangers who team up to find these 3 stars. So it's set in like a contemporary world, but it's got magical powers and magical things. So there are 3 goddesses of the moon that created 3 stars, one of fire, one of ice, and one of water, like a long time ago, to celebrate the rise of their queen. And then like something bad happens and they end up having to like hide them. And so these 6 strangers are like set out to join forces to pick up these like 3 missing stars, find them, and bring them back to this place called the Island of Glass. So this story, each story in this series, now that I've read the beginning of it and I can like look at the other 2 in the series, I do know it's the same strangers, like the same, well, they're not strangers anymore, but like it's the same set of 6 characters, but each book follows like a different romance. So in this one specifically, we have Sasha, who like sets the whole thing in motion. She's a seer and she keeps having dreams about these people, so she's drawing them, and like it's all these 6 people that are going to be part of this group that are like going to find these stars. And she's like having like dreams and like she can't figure out what's going on, so she decides to like actually do something about it and goes to the island of Corfu, which is in Greece, I believe, and ends up running into a couple of people, and then like he runs into more until they finally decide that they're all there to search for the stars for certain reasons. And it's her and this guy named Bran. This one specifically is their relationship and their romance. I wasn't really sure what I was getting into, but I'm very much hooked. Like this is very high potential to be a 5-star. Like I said, I'm only about halfway through, so lots of things could happen. The one weird thing that I have noticed is that, which I guess now that like we've learned things about some of the other characters, it makes sense. But at first it's like she, like I said, is a seer. She like sees through dreams at first, and then like as she continues to like open up herself to her own powers, it's things like she can read people's emotions. She can actually kind of like see bits and pieces of the future and like will just spout random like rhymes and stuff, and like it will make sense for what they're doing. And so she never tells anybody about like her power, because like when she was younger it drove her father away, because her father was like, this girl is crazy, and like left her. And so she doesn't tell people the stuff, but like she meets these strangers and like immediately tells them, you know, I know who you are, here's a picture I drew a week ago of you. And so like that convinces them that she's like sane-ish, and like they all are there for the stars. So like the fact that they believe her so quickly, I guess, makes sense. But part of me is like, it's almost too much. Like there's no questioning her. It's like, oh yeah, you can see things, perfect. I'm sold. And like she does have these pictures of these people to like prove to them that like, I drew this a week ago, clearly I know who you are, and like you're supposed to be here. But like it just felt too, like they believed her too fast. Like within the first chapter she already had met 2 of them, and they were both like, yeah, we're on board, let's go. And I was like, this feels wrong. Like there's something about this that just feels too fast. Again, now like at the point where I'm at, we've met all 6 and we've learned things about some of the other people, and so it is now believable that they would have believed her right away. So like that right now is literally my only complaint. I'm loving this book. I am flying through it. It's mostly dialogue, which is I love dialogue, so I'm okay with that. And some of these characters are really fun, and some of these characters, I'm listening to the audiobook, so like a couple of these characters are Irish, so their accents are great. And there's one character named Annika who I have suspicions about based on like some of the stuff, but like she talks very differently. Like she's very like, kind of talks like a child. Like English is not her first language, and you can tell through like the writing and things like that. So I think that's very interesting. So far, first full-length Nora Roberts book, going very well. I wasn't sure. And so I'm excited to continue, and like, because I do have all 3 in the series, and I like that all 3 follow the same set of characters, but like focus on one couple specifically. So yeah, so far so good. I'm like really enjoying it. So I expect to finish this one like in the next few days, so at the very beginning of September, and I think that I'm really gonna love it. Which is, I don't know, like there's just something about it that didn't feel like it was gonna work, and then it did. So like I don't really know what's going on, but like I'm loving it. So this is the only one I didn't finish, and again, like I said, I'm giving myself slack. I'm gonna finish it in like the first couple of days of September. So like I'm gonna let it count. I'm gonna let it count. It's gonna be fine. So that like in April, when we do year 2, I'm still gonna be okay. Like I'm still gonna have passed it. I'm giving myself an extension. But that's it. That is the Magical Readathon first year done. I really enjoyed it, as always. I love this readathon. I think G does an amazing job, especially this year when she or the last couple of years when she created her own world. I think stellar, stellar. So I'm excited to see where we go in April and how I can continue on with my Master of Elements career. I'm excited, and I think I did some really good reading. Like, I think the lowest score I gave was 3 stars, and that was to the manga I read this week. So yeah, pretty excited overall. I got a lot of things in that I've been wanting to get in or haven't touched in a long time, and I am excited and happy with how I did. But I hope that you guys enjoyed this video. My light has disappeared, so I'm going to end this here. But I hope that you guys enjoyed. Please let me know down below, as always, how your reading went in the month of August. Did you participate? Did you not? Tell me how your reading went. But if you liked this video, and I very much hope that you did, don't forget to give it a big thumbs up and subscribe down below if you would like to be part of this awesome growing family. I've also got all my social media down there, as well as other fun bookish links, so don't forget to check all that out. I will see you guys in my next video. Bye!